What's up, everybody? It's Adrian.
Justin C.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like what you're seeing, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the button below. Also, share it with your friends.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Now roll the tape.
All right. How long are we doing this for?
We're your hosts,
Adrian Doell and
Justin C.
there and back.
Here we go.
There and back. Welcome to There and Back. Today we got Ashley Bartlett and Matt Siegmund.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
We're headed from JJ's to OKC Culture,
JJ the pub.
doing our local business.
Roundabouts.
I'm actually enjoying these local, smaller format episodes.
Yeah, we don't have to do so many Tulsa long trips. No.
Right. And that's the thing is we're splitting now. Now that we're going to Austin every other month, we're cutting down Tulsa trips, which we love you, Tulsa, but got to go out to frickin' fentanyl land and try to make it out there too.
I mean, they press really good pills out there. Let's be honest.
God, dude, the frickin' I've never seen so many fentanyl titties in my life. It was very unwanted.
Where are we talking in Austin?
Austin,
Yeah.
yeah, it was awful.
I might try and meet up with you guys on this next trip that you make. While you and Dave are going down there?
Hell yeah.
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 You know, with Dave, Jaden,
See if he breaks his
Izzy.
wallet.
It's gonna be a
Yeah.
fucking full house, but
We'll let
fun.
Izzy hold all the drugs because who's going to put him in handcuffs?
He's able to get in there.
I love that. That is-
Nah, the Chinese finger trap is his, like,
Oh, yeah, that's what they'll do.
his
You
torture.
reminded me of Chinese finger trap, and I can't remember what I was thinking about, but I need to remember that because I was in the shower the other day and was thinking about Chinese finger trap, and then I lost it. And you just reminded me.
I got you, dude. I'm out here.
Fuck.
My brain goes weird.
There's a one-sided Chinese finger trap. I don't know what it is, but I know that's what I was talking about or thinking about.
I'll be like, oh, I'll remember this. I don't need to write it down.
I
And
just
then,
need
like,
to stop the car
Yeah.
and write it down.
like 5 seconds later, I'm like, what was I even thinking about?
Yeah, dude.
Worst feeling.
I do a recorder now on my phone
I might start doing
if I'm
that.
driving.
I hate my voice, so I won't do that.
Yeah.
Just let
I hate my voice, dude. That's why I don't put tapes out. I need to just freaking post something from every set I do, like Justin over here.
Yeah, I didn't even film tonight, but I probably will over here.
I started filming my set, and then I got back to my camera after it, and it was like, oh, your memory's full. And I was like, fuck.
That's the worst.
I've
I've done
just-
this before.
Yeah, but I've been filming like every set recently because I'm just trying to figure out, because like my energy level has been a lot different since I've been back, and I'm just like, because I'm having old jokes that aren't hitting, and I went and watched all of my old videos recently, and I was like, they're not hitting because I'm not delivering it the same, I don't have like the same stage presence as I had before, and that's why these jokes aren't working, because these people are not convinced that I might kill myself.
Right.
So it's like,
Okay.
I'm just like,
Not
I'm
the
tr-
same enthusiasm.
yeah. I'm trying to find a balance to where I can still have like old jokes hit, but with kind of what I'm doing now on stage.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what's your writing process like?
Trying to. Well, I guess I was kind of talking about this earlier. What I'll do is like I don't ever really sit down and make myself write. It's just kind of like ideas will start to come to me, and then I'll just write everything down, and kind of do like the accordion method,
Okay.
where it's like start bringing it back in. So I'll do like try and write 3 to 4 minutes out on one topic, and like just do multiple jokes, and then go to a mic or a couple, see what hits, see what doesn't, trash some of it, and just keep like whittling it down,
You know what might help you is, have you ever heard of Zettelkasten?
Mm-mm.
It is a note-taking and writing tool, and the way it started was like a box, like a card box, okay? And so you write your topic on that card box. Every time you come up with a new thing, you put a new card. A new
Oh,
car.
okay.
Behind.
Yeah.
So it turns into this like tree of things. Chris Rock, have you seen the documentary? It's called Headliners Only.
No.
It's about Chris Rock and Kevin Hart playing Madison Square Garden.
Maybe.
So in that documentary, and you can look it up online, Chris Rock has this big board with sticky notes. And that is a
I do.
Zettelkasten.
Yeah, I do know what you're talking
That
about.
is a
I did-
Zettelkasten.
Yeah. Wow.
I haven't gotten into it yet because it seems like a lot, but apparently it's like unreal for writing and keeping notes.
I feel like I have that like happening in my brain, like because I have all these. I'm like I've got all these different like puzzle pieces that I'm constantly shuffling, you know.
Right.
And it's like the more I go to mics and the more I just it eventually it's almost. Do you ever have days where it's like you've been working on all this different type of material and then it just does this? It's like it just clicks and one day it makes sense, you
Yeah,
know.
dude.
And then you got 10 minutes or something. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah, I was writing like 3 jokes today. I only finished one of them, but I was like, I don't know, my brain, I was like bouncing back and forth between 3 different jokes.
Yeah.
But how about you, Matt? What's your writings? What do you your
Well, I'm
process?
very bad at writing actually, because I'll like come up with a cute joke and then I'll say, how can I make this dirty?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
But normally, but like as of recently, like I'll come up like it, it becomes like more topical stuff whenever I try to write, which isn't super fun because I eventually have to throw that joke away in like a week or two.
Yeah, I'll have it.
So it's like
That's why I don't typically tackle topical much because I'm gonna have to throw it away eventually. And I
Yeah.
hate that.
I mean,
shit.
it's a fun. It's still a fun writing tool to do.
Yeah,
you know,
totally, absolutely.
It just I don't know. Hard to keep something from those little things. Like maybe there's a premise in there that it doesn't have to be topical anymore.
Right, right.
It's hard to get to that point with them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And sometimes like transitioning it from a different perspective, if it's something that maybe is past, like I have that joke about the that white Uber bitch or whatever, you know,
yeah.
like it's about to be expired basically for like where we're at politically in the country, you know, and I'm like, there's other ways that I can like reframe this to where I can still tell it, where it's like I can just change it to where it's as if I've just recently had this conversation with this Uber driver, you know, like there's ways that you can work around it, but not always. I don't know, like it's tough. That I would want to write. I want to write jokes that nobody's gonna steal because they're that personal to me. You know, like it's like
that's how. Well, they say the greats say, write about yourself.
yeah,
So that makes perfect sense.
yeah,
I don't
That's
know,
kind of how what I'm doing. I write jokes about myself because no motherfucker is gonna be able to write or steal that joke because it's about me
yeah,
and my freaking past dating life and my personal experience.
Yeah.
You know, and
there's still a thing about like circular thinking. Like people like we like as comics, we kind of all think the same, and we can almost get to the same joke if you give us like a topic and a premise. You
Right.
know,
True.
so like sometimes it's not necessarily stealing. It's more like you guys came up like almost with the same joke organically.
Oh yeah, that does happen all the time. That's why like when people are like, "Oh, so and such does that. I can't do a joke about that." You can
Yes,
have
yeah,
the same
yeah.
premise, you just can't do it verbatim.
It's got to
Yeah.
be in your voice. That's
Yeah,
that's the thing.
exactly.
It can't be the same joke. It can be the same premise. It has to be in your voice though.
Exactly.
So and that's a hard thing for like people getting started
Yeah,
to get
absolutely.
to, you know. It's like being yourself on stage. It's like, oh wait, how do I do that?
Mm-hmm.
I wrote this thing down.
I feel like since after that break that I took, I feel like I'm having like an identity crisis as a comic. You know, like it's just been really strange.
Oh, really?
But it's like, well, like so much of like my past performance was like just riding on my anxiety, you know, and my anxiety is not been anywhere near as severe. Like I feel like I just get nervous like a normal person now. Like I don't get like the crippling anxiety where like I'm feeling it in my body, you
Right.
know? So it's like now I don't know, I've kind of felt like I've gotten on stage and I'm just like it's almost like I have too much energy, but it's like because I'm trying really hard to impress people because I want to get booked and I think I need to change my material this way or that way so it'll like you know, cater to more audiences. And I'm just like at the same time I feel like I'm kind of losing myself as a comic as to like who I was before, you know?
But like that's
Don't
a
lose yourself. That's the thing, man. Like, who was I listening to the other day? I I was listening to Kill Tony. I think it was Tom Segura. It was that episode that we would have been on if we would have gotten on.
That was a
And,
good episode.
and dude, it was a great episode. And he said, the guy was from like Wisconsin. And he's like, you've got a really dark side
young
to
kid.
you. That young
Yeah,
kid.
I
The
remember
kid that was
him.
talking about laughing at Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, and the arm getting blown off. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, you got a really dark side, and you need to embrace that.
Yeah,
Fuck this Wisconsin pretty boy bullshit.
yeah,
Embrace that shit.
yeah.
And I feel like I try to not be so dark at times. Sometimes I can pull it off, sometimes I can't. But I feel like I'm the same way. I need to embrace my darkness. I've had a
Yeah.
lot of fucked up shit happen in my life. And that's the shit I need to be talking about.
Yeah, because like anytime I try to like pull back the reins a little, like I get uncomfortable. The delivery is not good because I'm not confident in the material. And then I'll go back with that same material and just go fucking hard dark on it. You know what I mean? Almost to the point where it's like that's too much, that's too intense, you know, or like I'll say stuff even that I'm like, that kind of seems offensive, you know, because like I never want to offend people. I know it happens, but it's like I'll listen to like playbacks of tapes and I'm like, you sound like you're trying to offend somebody, you know.
Right.
So
I mean,
I don't
there's
know,
definitely a balance with it.
yeah, I was gonna
you
say it's
know?
a fine line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever read or heard of Breaking Comedy's DNA by Jerry Corley?
Mm-mm.
Is that one by L. Ron Hubbard?
No, it's a fucking.
That's my uncle, dude.
It's a fantastic book, and they talk a lot about that. It's pretty freaking amazing book.
I gotta check that
actually.
out. I honestly don't read too many books that often.
I
I
read
don't read a lot
150
either.
pages in one sitting.
Damn.
I'll do
But
an audiobook for
You
sure.
you can turn it. Jaden turned it into an audio.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
That's I do a lot more audiobooks, honestly. I'll buy the book though too, because like Mastering Stand Up is one of my favorite books.
That's a great book.
Yeah. And so like I listened to the audiobook, but I went ahead and purchased it too. So you can go back and like take notes or like highlight shit, you know what I mean?
Nice.
Have something for a reference. Because sometimes if I'm ever like feeling shitty about my comedy, I'll flip through that and I'll be like, no, you're doing fine. You know, I don't know. There's something about that book. It'll make me feel better if I read it.
And that's a weird thing, man, because like I get that too. I'm like, nobody laughed. What am I even doing this for?
Yeah.
But we're still evolving.
I'm not
as
really funny.
comedians.
And then I'll fucking go to the next mic and hit hard.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's like you can never
Audiences are very unpredictable.
Yeah, you can never like judge it. You can't judge a joke based off of how it went at one mic, you know,
Especially
and that's
JJ's.
yeah, for sure. And that's I'll see comics do that. They'll be like I won't say names, but there was somebody that was just like that bombed so hard. I was like, it was the first time you tried it,
Exactly.
and I was like, and just because this audience didn't like it doesn't mean that it's not funny. Like keep telling it, you know.
Exactly.
Like,
Try it different places.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something too, like I was at OK Improv a couple weeks ago, and there was this guy there that had been doing comedy, he said, for like 13 years, and he was talking about how he bombed and he was beating himself up and this and that. And I'm like, dude, don't beat yourself up when you bomb. Like that, it happens. He's like, well, if you've been doing it as long as I have, you're gonna do it. And I'm like, and he's because he was saying like, I run back in my head all these things that I did wrong, and it's like, don't focus on what you should have done. Just be like, this is what happened. This is what I will do next time.
Yeah.
Right,
Like quit. Like
exactly.
you're literally preventing yourself from progressing and growing as a comic because you're just beating yourself up over something that happened.
Exactly.
Like
At an open mic.
I don't
It
know
doesn't
exactly.
even fucking matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the important part is the jokes that we're writing you think are funny. That's why you're writing it.
Yeah,
So it's like
Exactly.
it's not going to work. It might not work everywhere just because like every set and every audience is different.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my my Jeffrey Dahmer shit doesn't always hit. I did that joke in front of two older couples on Friday, and they were like, "Wow."
Yeah.
So like, I guess that goes back to like reading your audience.
Dude, and I have a
You
hard
know?
time doing that. And that's something
I think
that,
we all do.
yeah. Coming back, I was like, what was I gonna say? Fuck, I forgot. I spaced
It's okay. I do that shit all the time.
all the time.
It's hard to read the audience, so
Unorganized
if you have
brain.
this set.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
I think okay, I remember now. In the past, like I felt like I was always like prioritizing my performance over the audience, and I think that was a mistake that I was making. So it's like right now I feel like I've kind of been overcompensating for that. But I bounce back and forth between like extreme sides of it, to where I'm like I really give a fuck about the audience, and then I'm like I give zero fucks about what they think, you know what I mean? Like as long as I feel good about my set, but it's like there's got to be somewhere in between where like you give a shit about what the audience thinks, because like you're there to entertain them, but you still want to like be true to yourself and your material and like your experience in life, because like that's what I think that like comics are fucked up people that have been through fucked up shit. Like that's why they do it,
Exactly.
Um,
It's therapy,
Yeah. So
basically.
I just don't. I don't want to stray too far just because like, oh, well, I want to get booked. You know what I mean? It's like I don't. I just don't want to lose what I had. I want to make sure that I can see myself. I've always seen myself being a little bit different than what I was doing before, where I was just very like deadpan, drony, depressed, But um, I want to make sure that I keep that persona still in my pocket with what's like developing and growing right now.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Though you're not the
You do-
same comic that you were when you started. So
Yeah.
like you're still evolving your comedy.
Yeah.
Like it's like that might be part of the reason that some of those old jokes aren't working, just
Yeah.
because like more you
True.
have more confidence on stage.
Yeah.
You do seem way more comfortable lately.
No, I'll tell you.
For the last like year, yo.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was gonna say just recently,
Even
like,
recently, man.
yeah. Well, I finally, after 20 years, the doctor's telling me that I had ADD. I was like, okay, I guess I do. And so I started medicating it, and my anxiety is like, it's almost disappeared, And so I just realized that I was medicating my ADD with like anxiety medication for decades, and so I I don't know. It's weird. Like I'm calmer now. Like I'm so much calmer. I never would have
You
thought,
mean like are without medication?
with
Are,
like
are you still
Okay.
on like the?
no, like I take Adderall now instead of
Okay.
like Klonopin. Like I basically switched those. You know what I mean?
There
And
you
it's
go,
like
speedballs, dude.
right. It's no. It's weird. It's like it's like I didn't know amphetamine was like the treatment for my anxiety. Turns out that's just like
Oh.
how my brain works, I guess, or that's how an ADD
Uh,
or ADHD brain is.
Every brain,
Yeah.
almost, I think.
Because like it doesn't like I feel so much calmer when I take Adderall. It's weird, but that has been part of it, But I was thinking too, like with the job that I had over the winter, being like an advocate at that shelter, I was in a lot of like confrontational situations, and I was constantly like de-escalating very intense
Stop
situations.
beating off, man.
Yeah, that. Oh my God, that's a true story. That
Guys, can you
happened.
really put on some underwear, please?
Yeah. Dude, that was a fucking wild job. But I know
can
that
only
like
imagine. I've been to that place.
yeah,
I can
God
only
bless you.
imagine how
I can
crazy it was
only
working there.
imagine.
yeah, it was nuts. But like I know that like I feel different from that experience,
Right.
So I feel like
I mean, the shitty part is someone has to do it.
Mm.
And the other shitty part is you were doing it for a nonprofit, right?
yeah.
Yeah, you're not making money doing that.
No, and that's like I really love the work. I had issues with the organization, and I had issues with the way they like handled clients, and like holding them accountable. And there was always the excuse of like, well, it's a low barrier shelter. And I'm like, well, we're not really helping these people. Like we're letting them like
We're enabling them.
exact. Yeah. That's, that was a word that I used a lot whenever I would try to stress like, we're having all these problems, but it's because we're not trying to take control of the situation. And so it was just tons of chaos constantly. And that was another reason I just didn't have the energy to do comedy,
Yeah.
Um,
That sucks.
yeah.
Because for me, that's like comedy's the best thing besides my family. The best thing that's ever happened to me. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah, I love it,
I
dude.
can't imagine not wanting. I guess that's kind of where I was when I was still going to school for electrical engineering.
Yeah.
And I was like, this sucks. Not having a good time.
Yeah. Well, it's like too, like I made a lot of jokes before just about like depression and suicide and like dying alone and shit like that. And it's like I watched a lot of people die last winter and they died
Yeah.
alone and like didn't have anybody. And so there was just a lot of things that like I would have gone on stage to joke about that I was actually like experiencing and witnessing in real
Yeah,
time.
dude.
That was just like because like a lot of the jokes, I think a lot of people misunderstood my comedy before that they think that I like genuinely was suicidal and this and that. I'm like, no, that's like past for me, like I'm up here kind of like poking fun at like how I was. Like it is therapeutic for me to be able to make jokes about this, and there are people that will laugh with me. And if you get it, that's awesome, but if you don't, that's also fine. But and also people were like attempting suicide at the shelter and all, and so it was just it was
Golly.
hard to like do my comedy while I was working
I
there.
I mean,
bet.
especially when you're trying to instruct them the right way to kill themselves.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like,
exactly.
come on,
You're
Down-
doing it wrong.
down the street, then across.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, that was a brutal job, man. But I'm finally I was not enjoying comedy for the first few months that I've been back, honestly. It was
Okay.
really, my anxiety was really bad when I first came back. It felt harder coming back than it did to start comedy to begin with. So I've
That's
honestly been like struggling for quite a few months, and it hasn't been until like this last month that I feel like I'm honestly like enjoying it again. So
Seems like
Well, you put
snapped
on
back.
a really good happy face.
do
Yeah.
I?
Well, we're enjoying watching you do comedy.
Oh,
so-
thank you.
Totally, dude.
I'm happy to be back. I've missed you guys a lot.
Yeah, we're glad to have you back. I have always thought you were fucking funny.
Thanks, man.
That's why I put you on my first fucking showcase.
Dude, I think
I think
I
the
made
audience is a
people
little
nervous.
bit taken aback.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's okay.
Well, and I was dressed as Rick Sanchez as well, and I'm talking about blowing my brains out and shit, which that's kind of like on par with him, man. You know what I mean? Like he's a
It's funny.
depressed alcoholic.
Right. All right. Well, we're there
We'll see you in
at
a
OKC
few.
Culture. We'll see you on the way back.
Watch this. We'll do it like this.
We're here now, and now we're going back.
Alright.
Diddly
It sounds so
dum.
cheesy every time.
It does. It sounds so fucking awkward. I mean, but I kind of do that on purpose.
Yeah. Taco Bell, Taco Hell.
Yeah, for sure. I need to go home and eat something. I haven't eaten since like 2 o'clock this afternoon
Oh
Me
no, I
too.
can't do that.
because comedy is more fun than
More
eating.
fun than eating.
Usually I eat before, but I was cooking some from
Meth?
scratch hamburger helper. No, I never cooked meth.
From scratch.
From scratch hamburger helper. So like noodles with hamburger, and I'm season it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't buy shit out of a box. Typically. But yeah, so I'm hungry as fuck.
Yeah.
But anyway, comedy. How'd you guys think the mics went?
Fun night.
Fun night. JD's was fun.
It was fun. I worked out a lot of new material that I've never said before, and I've got that one joke, the corners joke, where I'm trying. I haven't figured it out yet. There's that. The beginning of the joke. It's just
Yeah.
not where it needs to be. But that's okay. That's why we go to open mics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get reps in.
Gotta get
Try new
reps
shit.
in. Gotta try and, man, I just don't know how to introduce that other character. You know what I mean? Like not hitting the way I want it to. That's okay though.
Like what I was told prior to starting comedy is true. It's like you don't really know until you say it in front of people. Like I've gotten on stage before and thought like that I had a joke, and then I say it out loud in front of people. I'm like, that's just a fucking idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but there's a joke in there. You
Right,
just haven't gotten
yeah.
to it.
There's a joke in there. I just haven't figured out how to introduce the person that I'm talking about.
it'll work.
Fucking tight left. Fucking tight left guy. That
Yeah.
guy. That's okay. We'll figure it out.
Figure
It'll
it out.
happen. So anyway, it was a fun night.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I'm glad that we're done with mics for the week.
Yes.
No, we're
Yay.
not. We got a mic Saturday.
I still have a mic though. That's a show.
I'm gonna be on. I might put a cork in it tomorrow.
Oh, are you?
I thought I may
That'll
go.
be fun.
I may show up there.
Yeah, it's Lords of Lawton. It's like,
Oh, and you're on the show?
yeah, he went ahead and put me on as like a guest spot.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, buddy. Good for you.
Well, that's because I hit him up, Nick up, and I was like, man, you got any shows you can put me on? He's like, yeah, I could probably like get you a spot somewhere, but I know it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I wasn't getting just like my material. I talked to another comic about it. I was like, dude, people are telling me that they're gonna have to like find the right show or this or that, you know. And that wasn't necessarily what Nick told me, but he's like, not Nick, but this other guy I was talking to. He's like, you know, sometimes your material, like maybe they don't want to have me on the show because they're afraid it'll like tank the show, you know. I was like, that's why I'm like wanting to try and change shit, but I also don't want to change shit, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Like, I do feel I don't know. Do y'all feel like females get like criticized a little more for doing like darker material and shit? Because I feel like a lot of guys get on stage and say just as fucked up shit as I do, and they like get booked and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I
don't
don't
know.
know. That's an interesting question.
Females are going to get judged more no matter what, just because we judge them.
But I mean, and we've got quite a few funny females in our scene.
yeah,
But like ratio wise, but that's the thing. There's not a lot of females in comedy
Yeah.
compared to how many dudes are in comedy.
for sure.
So it's kind of like going to Austin to find good comics. You got to weed through all the sewage to find the funny ones, right?
Yeah. Well,
At least in the Austin open mic scene.
yeah,
There's a lot more not funny people that I saw, at least for my experience, than I saw funny people.
yeah.
I think it's kind of like that.
What is this?
Woo.
Fucking moron. We just almost got an autoped.
Dude, he was wearing a black shirt and pants.
I mean, I saw him.
yeah, but I would say like he's an idiot for like walking into the
Just freaking walked into
probably
the
fucking
street.
high.
He's probably fucked up.
Yeah.
He was looking the wrong way.
Yeah.
Moron.
Well, the last week
If I would have gotten an autoped, I would have been so pissed.
Yeah.
Because then I'd have to work. I'm obligated.
Yeah.
There's a
No.
hospital.
Oh, I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah, there's a hospital right there, so it wouldn't have been a very long me having to work, but I would have had to fucking work.
Yeah.
We can get them in the back of the truck.
Dump him off somewhere. Just kidding. I was gonna say I said retard last week at JJ's, and there was a guy sitting at the end of the bar that was like, "You can't say that word anymore," and so I just yelled retard. Like I'm just like, why? I was like, I'm gonna fucking say it, dude. Like I don't.
That's funny as hell.
But I thought too. I'm like, I wonder. I just can't help but wonder if he would have done that if a guy said retard on stage. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Maybe it's.
So, yeah,
I've been told I can't say
sometimes.
Yeah.
retard before, so.
It just makes me. Yeah, I shouldn't. I guess
Well,
read into it too much. But
Oh
Read
no,
into that too
I like
much,
what
but-
you're doing, but because like some women are like fall into the cliche of doing like slut material and shit like
Mhm.
that,
it fucking.
and
yeah.
that's just like as cheap as like guys doing dick jokes.
Dude, and that's what, like, I kinda-
Exactly,
I started
dude.
making like some more like I started making sex jokes or just like referencing stuff like that when I came back because I'm like, oh well, that's what a lot of other females get on stage and talk about. But I'm like, I just don't. That's just not
Don't
me,
be other
though.
females.
Yeah,
Be
exactly.
yourself, dude.
Yeah,
No,
100%.
it's a sex joke every now and again is fine, but like,
like
you don't
your,
want that
uh,
to be your.
I like
shit.
your lesbian, like people think I'm a lesbian, all that bit you do.
yeah.
I've been trying to write clean.
It's hard.
Well, so the book that I read, it says, like, it shows a joke, and it's like, look, that joke does not depend on the cursing. The cursing, you could take it or leave it,
Yeah,
but the joke's still funny because you followed the formula, and so the joke still hits regardless. So I've been trying to write like that, where everything doesn't like depend on profanity. Yeah, sure, profanity enhances the words sometimes, but I'm trying to not depend on profanity.
Yeah. Is that the book that you said you sent us?
Yeah.
'Cause that, like, I need that because
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh, bro, you are gonna love that shit.
well, because like
Change everything
yeah.
for me.
Well, I don't write jokes to try and like shock people. Like I know I have like jokes about dead children and stuff, but it's like I'm not like I'm gonna write a dead baby joke or something. It just
Right. It just
happens,
happens.
you know? And it's just not, I'm not just trying really hard to be dark and intense and like get in people's faces. It's just my sense of humor is dark. Like I think it's funny, you know?
Dude, I wasn't getting booked on shows until just recently.
Yeah,
So that's what made me start doing my own.
yeah,
So you may look into finding a place and starting your own shows because and that immediately throws you into hosting.
yeah. I've been enjoying, trying to like figure out that shit, like I was
Yeah.
really grateful that Leo's let me host at JJ's a couple times. And then I think, we'll see if Bricktown lets me fucking host again. But like, I'm just like looking at that as like a learning experience in
Absolutely.
general. Like, I'm not looking back on that as like it's good or bad. Like, it's just you learn some shit
Well,
last
you
night.
have to. It's
you
a
know?
necessary
Yeah.
because that's your next step.
Yeah.
You get from mics to showcases and then hosting,
Yeah.
featuring.
I mean, it's like if I
headline.
don't learn something every time I get on stage, then you know what I mean. Like you got to keep growing.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of people don't see it like that. Like I've come across people that are like afraid to write new shit.
Yeah, that's
And
weird.
I mean, I don't really understand that and I guess I can empathize with it. Like that sucks.
Yeah.
I've been stuck in uh writer's block
Right.
before, but
That's just all it is, though. It's not necessarily they're afraid to write new shit. They're just in a writer's block, and they have something that works.
I'm trying to block out like at least an hour a day where I'm just sitting there thinking and writing.
I can't. I don't make myself write. Like I'll make myself like journal and things like that because that
that's
gets my
writing.
brain going. Yeah.
That's exactly what you're doing is you're making yourself write.
Yeah. But it's like I might not write comedy for a few weeks, honestly. I might just be going like I'll work material to death though. Like
Yeah.
I'll
You want it to be perfect.
rewrite it till it's like what's left now. Like where'd the joke even go?
Right.
But yeah, that sometimes like I'll be journaling and I'll be writing about something shitty that happened and I'll just like put it in bold. That way I can scroll back to it and be because I'm like, there is a joke here. Like you're
Right.
gonna be able to figure out how to make this shitty situation funny, or
Well, and that's the thing they say, just write.
yeah.
You may not get a joke out of it, just write. If you
Yeah.
just sit down and write, like I sat down a couple weeks ago and just wrote out. I went to rehab when I was 20 years old because my parents found me drunk for the first time. Well, I did go to the hospital, but it's beside the point. Anyway, I wrote the whole thing out and I pulled things out of it
Right.
that I had forgotten about
Yeah.
completely. And I was like, holy shit. So now I got to go through that whole long story, trim all the fat, and then punch it up, and it should be fine for a joke.
Yeah, I was trying to do like a daily writing, like stream of consciousness thing where it's like I just sit down on a topic and just write,
Right.
whatever. And of course, I did like so many other things, and I'm like, I'm gonna start doing this, and then I never fucking do it. But I mean, I think that would help if I just like picked a random topic though,
Right.
and maybe I don't even turn it into material. It's just something to get your gears going,
Mhm.
just like keeping things fresh.
You know what Nick Campbell told me to do is what he does is he got and the book talks about this too. He got this from the book. He got a random word generator. So you'll generate a random word and then you'll write about it for 5 minutes. And then you'll spend the next 5 minutes trying to pull a joke out of it. And if you do or not, you move on to the next after that second 5 minutes.
Okay.
So 10 minutes on a random topic. And I mean, that's how he's doing these comedy on the spot shows.
Yeah.
Is they walk up on stage, the audience gives them a topic, and they start riffing on it. But doing that exercise gets your brain to work quicker and
Yeah.
under pressure.
That's all I was gonna say. He does a lot of like mental exercise shit, you know, and that like there's things that I'll do. Like there's been a couple times that I've gotten on stage at Bricktown recently, like without a set. I'm just like, I'm just gonna talk about this, and that's so
You know what? We're gonna get off here for
Yeah.
funsies.
that's so like against everything that I really do because I have everything so like scripted, you know, like word
Mhm.
for word. I want to say everything word for word.
That's typical there.
Yeah.
Too, and I'm super OCD about it.
Yeah.
And if one letter doesn't look right, I have to erase it and go do the
Yeah.
letter correctly. Stupid.
Well, that's because when I first started comedy, like me and Cody Troutman would toss around ideas a lot. Like he helped me a lot, and me and him both are down to like maybe just change this one word out of like these 50 words you just said. Maybe try this one word differently. And it was really funny. One time it was like the exact same word. We were both like maybe try something different on it. Like I don't know,
That's so funny.
but yeah, I'll try. I'm trying to do things more that make me uncomfortable. Like in the past, like I really feel like I need to walk around on stage. Like it's just I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel more comfortable on like a larger stage. JJ's and shit like that was difficult at first because you do just have to stand there. But I've made myself do sets at Bricktown where like I don't take the mic off the stand and I just stand there for 4 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like almost unnerving, but it does. I mean, it just helps to push yourself out of like your comfort zone,
Absolutely.
even if you only do it like that. I don't have to be a comic that stands at the mic the entire time, but just do shit that makes you uneasy.
Mhm.
I'm trying to pull out at least one new joke per mic.
Yeah.
That's why, like, he's like 10 minutes. I was like, all right, fucking here we go. Half those jokes aren't even finished, but I just want to get comfortable with them.
Dude, I love Matt Rainey's mic at OK Improv because
need to
it's like
go
new
there. I've
material
never
only.
been.
It's so fun, dude. It's one of my favorite mics now.
I like it. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
He got his head shaved the other night.
I was there,
I
dude.
was wondering
was
who's
it?
I
going to
was
get their
there.
head shaved.
Yeah, yeah. Cody
That's
was
fun.
like, if I lose and I have to shave my head, I will kill myself. So, but they both had good
He's got a
sets.
beautiful head of hair. I
Dude,
don't
yeah.
blame him.
Yeah.
Well, how long have you guys been doing comedy?
What's that?
How long have you guys been doing comedy?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, I started in January of 23.
Okay.
And I had that
Hell yeah.
fucking break. But
Hell yeah.
I think I've had about like a year and a half of stage time then, something like that. I don't know.
Where was your
Yeah.
guys' first mics?
Bricktown.
Bricktown.
Same.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't that. And
Yeah.
No, mine was JJ's.
Was it?
Bricktown, dude, I freaking watched that video. I was like pacing the stage, like
Yeah.
back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
Terrible to watch, but
I feel more comfortable when I have room to like move around. you
see,
know?
I'm trying to force. It's funny, like Sarah tells me, she's like, you need to put more of you in your performance. Because in life, I'm loud and fucking obnoxious,
Mm.
but on stage, I'm like deadpan, standing in one spot, reserved. And that's really not who I am
Yeah.
at all. And so I'm trying to learn to force myself to do that, like with the delivery of my jokes and moving around more and stuff like that.
I'm trying to be like more intentional and like pay attention to what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Like I want to make sure I'm doing what feels comfortable, but like before I just get on stage, I'm just like I don't know. I felt like it was just a thing where it's like I'm just proud of myself for doing this. And like if it ever
You
gets
should
to a
be.
point where I walk off stage and I don't feel proud of myself or I hate myself, I'll quit doing it, And that's after I came back and I was feeling like really insecure. Like it's people like, oh, your confidence is good. I'm like, I'm insecure as fuck right now. Like it was a lot of things that were happening. But
In the words of the great William Montgomery, I ain't never gonna stop.
dude, that dude's fucking hilarious.
Oh, bro.
So there
He
was
got something special. That's
Yeah.
For sure.
I
didn't get it at first.
yeah.
I actually in the beginning I couldn't fucking stand.
Okay, I'm parked.
Listen, oh, you're parked where?
I'm like parked over by the police station.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
I don't know where that is. Funny enough.
If you just take a right at the four-way stop.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Hell yeah. But yeah, like I would fast forward through his sets at the
Yeah.
beginning, and now I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
Whenever I thought that he was like maybe in his late 20s, and then I found out that he's like late 30s, because like I thought he was like obnoxious at first, but now for some reason like it's like I'm disgusted with him now
Yeah.
that I learned what his age is for some reason. But it's not, doesn't mean that I don't like him. It's like almost makes me like him more. Like they're just, he is, I mean, it's just left right here, or I don't know, that he is an interesting human being.
I hear he's like the nicest dude ever.
Really.
Yeah. Because Kayvon and
John Wallen.
John Wallen, or wait, Brandon
That's
and
my
John
Brandon,
Wallen
yeah.
got to
Right there.
right here.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, homie.
Hell yeah.
This has been Ashley Bartlett.
Perfect. It fell right in that hole.
Did it
All right in
again.
his lap.
All right.
Worked.
Good to
Thanks.
see you, buddy. Thanks for
Bye,
hanging.
good
Later.
Be
See ya.
safe.
All right.
Where are you parked?
Gentle.
Bass Pro.
See y'all later.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. See ya.
Drop me off at his car. I'll figure my way out.
I could just drop you off at your car. Be
I'm
easier.
literally right down from where he's parked, I
Oh,
think.
Oh, okay. You can park
Sweet.
right in the middle of where we are then.
Sweet, sweet beans,
Sweet,
yo.
sweet, sweet, sweet.
Playful.
Here we go.